Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sonic Heroes on the Microsoft Xbox. I am one wild sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be continuing on with a bit more of Team Dark's storyline of the game as we venture through Team Dark's equivalent of Frog Forest Zone. And there's not really much else I can say about these guys in Frog Forest Zone. You know, basically it's the same as the Sonic level, only with more enemies. There's more mooks, more difficulty, you know, folks. There's not really too much new being added. What can I tell you? Although one thing you'll probably find yourself running into a lot more often are the frogs. The frogs are much more of a bigger... Not so much a bigger threat. Okay, I just went straight through that rail. Jesus Christ. Not so much a bigger threat, but I do personally think that there's a lot more frogs in this zone in comparison to the Team Sonic playthrough. And that's especially true when it comes to Act 2, if I recall correctly, where Act 2 of this zone basically has tons and tons and tons of black frogs littered about everywhere. And did I talk about the black frogs in the Team Sonic playthrough? I can't remember. If I didn't, well, I'm going to talk about them right now. Basically, in Act 2 of this zone, there's black frogs. They kill the scenery. They kill everything in the environment, which basically means, well, you need to try and avoid them. Otherwise, they're going to kill things, and they're gonna block off pathways for you to traverse. You know, ladies and gentlemen. But the big issue with this zone in particular is every now and then they will try to hide a lot of the frogs in out-of-the-way places and try to make you kill and... Good job! Anyway, they will sometimes hide the frogs off in out-of-reach places, you know, and hidden behind a tree or something. And other times they will also try to... chuck a load of enemies at you and put frogs inside these containers that you need to kill all the enemies in order to access, which again, I really don't like that type of level design. I mentioned this like 5-6 times already during this LP, but the level design idea of putting you into kill rooms and locking off your progress until you kill all the enemies, I just don't think it's such a good type of level design to be having in a Sonic game, you know, ladies and gentlemen. I'd much rather go fast. I'd much rather do what the Sonic X introduction says, you know, folks. Well, the American Sonic X introduction anyway, because in America they have this sort of gotta go fast, gotta go faster, 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 you know, they have that sort of tune. But over here in the UK, we just got this very, 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 very terrible and lame intro sequence that was sort of like Sonic X, Sonic X, Sonic X. That was literally all we got as our intro. We got gypped on our intro of Sonic X, and it's such a shame. Although nothing really beats the Japanese intro. I love the Japanese intro of that show. SONIC, go! The stuff gives me the tingles. It makes me feel all tingly inside. That's something I've never really understood with shows and stuff, why they change the intro sequences Jesus Christ, that's twice! Sorry. I don't understand why TV shows tend to change the intro sequences depending on what country you're in. For example, like, Dragon Ball is another example of that, where Dragon Ball Z, specifically, I don't recall with the original Dragon Ball, but with Dragon Ball Z, we had, over here in this country at the very least, we had this, Dragon, rock the dragon sort of soundtrack, and in Japan, Japan had the typical Chala, Chala song that everyone knows and loves from the series, and I don't know, I just never understood why do they localize it in such a way so they change the intro themes, especially when the Japanese ones tend to be pretty damn good anyway, you know, folks. I mean, the only sort of time where I found it to be a good thing when it changed the theme song of a cartoon that I've known about that is probably Dragon Ball GT, where the Americans got this really, really, really crappy rap song for the intro of that cartoon.
Step into the grand tour, step into the grand tour, Dragon Ball GT.
Well, us lot in Britain land, that's it's an official country term. Don't tell you. Us lot in Britain land, basically, we got the Japanese intro only translated to English, which I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of dig that tune. It's pretty damn neat. It's a pretty damn awesome intro. But yeah, the American intro for Dragon Ball GT was terrible. No. It's definitely not something I can imagine anybody going to and listening to it in their own spare time. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you love the music, more power to you, but it's just not for me. I don't know what they were thinking personally. But, I digress indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as you saw when we were playing as Team Sonic, we took the upper path. We can't actually take that upper path as Team Dark. There is absolutely no way that I can tell to get up to that upper route, which is a bit of a shame. But, you know, them's the breaks, I suppose. Them's are the breaks. I think it's probably because they wanted to make it so you had different routes, and they probably just did that to try and differentiate the storylines a little bit more so, I guess. I honestly have no idea. It just confuses me why they changed that a little bit. Probably just for the sake of changing something, but yeah, I digress indeed-o. I have to say, in this level, more than any other stage in the game, I have to say it is dreadfully obvious how they're using just a basic JPEG image for the background of the stage. Like, you know the skybox, the scenery in the background that you can't actually get to. It's plainly obvious they're using a basic image file. And usually in most of these games, that's all it is. It's always a basic image file. But I don't know, something about the picture quality of it just seems off in the background. And it just makes it really obvious that we're just sort of floating in an endless abyss with just a background sort of tacked out there, you know, super glued to the scenery, I suppose. But at least that's something I noticed, and it's only really in this stage where it's really, really jarring. Like, in other stages of the game, you know, I see the background and, you know, it adds to the atmosphere, but for some reason, in Frog Forest, in these jungle stages, the background just sort of seems eerily out of place, which is weird considering the art style fits this entire stage perfectly, but something's off about the background. I don't know how I can really explain it, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But I digress. That is Act 1 of this fantastic level over and done with. I know I bullshat my way through most of it, but, you know, basically most of this playthrough is going to be me rambling. I'm going to, you know, most of you probably going to gather that just from this first act because of, you know, I'm going to really start running out of things to say for each of these stories. Because I'll talk about differences when differences prop up, but honestly, there's not many differences between each of these storylines of the game, with the exception of Team Chaotix. Team Dark, Team Sonic, and Team Rose all have pretty similar, you know, similar design with some minor differences here and there. And most of Team Dark's differences are basically, oh look, now we can't progress unless we kill more enemies. Oh well. Oh look, there's more robots to kill. Oh well, you know, folks. Team Rose's differences are, well, Team Rose doesn't really have any differences apart from the fact the levels are damn near non-existent in comparison. And honestly, I appreciate that. And that's the reason why I'm actually doing the Team Rose playthrough after these three last as well, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I know a lot of playthroughs online well, I've seen a couple of playthroughs online anyway that they sort of focused on Team Sonic, Team Rose, and then Team Dark, because Team Dark is the most tedious storyline to get through. Team Dark is the most frustrating and tedious and boring playthrough of the game. But a lot of people elect to do Team Rose first whenever they're doing LPs and stuff, or that's if they're doing the full game, just because I noticed that Team Rose goes by quicker, so you don't run out of things to say, but I figured I might as well use that on the Team Dark playthrough right now, because this is going to be the hardest part of the entire playthrough, you know, folks. Once I've gotten through the Team Dark and Team Rose playthroughs, the Team Rose much of which won't be that long at all, you know, the playthrough is going to be pretty easy sailing for me commentary-wise. Oh, the woes of being a Let's Player. You know, there's a reason why a very large number of YouTubers rarely decide to do a full LP of this game, showing off every storyline, because it's a nightmare. It is actually a nightmare to do a full LP of this game with all the storylines intact. Why am I doing it then, you clever clogs at YouTube might be wondering? Well, it's as simple as I want to show off the other stories, because I know there's extra storyline details and stuff I want to show off, and loads of people skip the Dark story, or loads of people skip the Rose story, or basically most of the time you'll only see playthroughs of this game and it'll only be Team Sonic, you know, folks? Every now and then they'll show off either the full thing, sometimes they'll show off bits of each storyline, but I wanted to get the full experience, folks, you know? When you're watching my Let's Plays, you get the full experience of the game. Apart from bits where I obviously cut out, because otherwise it would be tedious and frustrating as all hell, but, you know, I basically, I put a lot of work in these parts behind the scenes, what can I tells ya? What can I tells ya, indeed. But, yeah, basically throughout the course of this zone, you're going to probably be mostly using Rouge, the bat, to fly up. With the exception of these areas where you can use Shadow, even though I just completely screwed myself out of using Shadow there, so I just stuck with Team Rose. Not Team Rose, I stuck with Rouge the Bat. So, yeah, this is a very flight-centric stage. And whenever you do come across these swingy things, I don't know the best way to call them, swingy things, that's all they really are, aren't they? They're just swingy things. Basically, I advise switching to team, not team, I keep saying team something. Keep switching to the flight character, because the flight character obviously has the extra, not so much defense, what am I thinking of? She's like a safety net. There we go, that's the perfect thing. So, for example, if I'm about to drop, or if I miss the vine entirely, the swingy thing, then I'm not going to fall to my death, because I'm in flight formation, so I can just start flying back up, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, flight formation is, without a single shred of doubt, one of the most useful things ever when you're doing basic platforming. So, I can sort of dig that. I can sort of dig that. But of course, I always find that this game in particular is always really challenging when it comes to ledges. I am very, 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 very prone to falling off of ledges whenever I'm playing this game, and you know, a lot of people claim that Shadow the Hedgehog is a worse controlling game than this one. I disagree purely for one reason. When I'm playing Shadow the Hedgehog, I never fall off of ledges. Ever. But whenever I'm playing through this game, I'm always going off a ledge. I am always running. Suddenly I'll just zoom straight past where I was meant to, and ugh, it's not fun, it's not cool, you know. So, I don't know what they sort of changed with Shadow the Hedgehog to stop that being an issue. I think they probably just made it so every time you run up to a ledge, you just stop to do a whoa animation. But, you know, that's a change I do appreciate, and that is the sole reason why I think Shadow the Hedgehog controls better than this one. Like, this game, in terms of actual movement, left, right, up and down, you know, in terms of three-dimensional movement, this game controls better than Shadow the Hedgehog. It's just, in terms of safety precautions and stuff like that, and in terms of ease of use, I find Shadow the Hedgehog to be more accessible to me. I know there's loads of people on YouTube that will contest me with that, loads of people who will disagree, but screw them, this is my YouTube channel. I'm not changing my opinion for the views or anything like that. You guys can all shut up if you want me to change my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, there's not really much to say about this stage, you know, folks. I still don't like this act as much as the first act, and the soundtrack is still nowhere near as good as it could be. This, honestly, probably my issue why I'm not too fond of Act 2 of this zone is probably the music, because one thing I find in Sonic games is usually music makes a good atmosphere for levels. If I'm not too fond of the soundtrack of a specific stage, then the stage, I always notice I'm usually not fond of the stage itself. And that's a trend I always find in a lot of games. It's kind of strange in that. And I know the soundtrack is definitely one of the least important parts of a game, but I don't know, I think it's something psychological. Whenever there's a really upbeat or good, catchy soundtrack in the background, I feel really pumped and I'm enjoying the stage. And whenever there's a bad soundtrack, I'm just sort of feeling, nah, it could be better. You know, folks. Although that doesn't excuse a lot of things, because otherwise Sonic 06 would be one of the best games ever in my book. If I just praise down the soundtrack. Basically, the soundtrack helps my my thoughts on a level, you know, folks. Usually just because of presentation and you know the fact I don't like the soundtrack of the stage too much. It just hurts my overall enjoyment of this one. What can I say? But we do have to sort of manipulate these frogs by here, ladies and gentlemen, in order to start jumping on up. Because obviously the black frog here will make it rain and make all of the fruit and stuff die. So what we need to do, we basically need to activate the black frog, run around the back to the secret area there, and then activate the green frog, which will make it rain and make everything grow perfectly fine. I tell you that much, ladies and gentlemen. Although I'll be perfectly honest, I am extremely glad these type of frogs don't really exist in the real world. Because otherwise, living in the UK would probably be even more hell than it already is. Because UK weather is terrible, ladies and gentlemen. Like, more specifically, the weather in Wales, it's bloody bipolar as all hell. One minute it could be sunny, the next minute it could be pouring down, or sometimes even snowing. Like, I've had more than a couple of instances where it's snowing in the middle of summer. I'm just like, what's going on? God, what are you doing? So having frogs like this around, and if they were in the UK, if they were in the Welsh lands, they would probably make the things even more worse in that regard. And I wouldn't be happy with that, because Jesus Christ, the weather's bad enough as it is. I wouldn't want frogs making them even worse. Hashtag boycott the frogs. Ship them all out of the country. Aye. I'd also be a bit more paranoid as well, as if there was giant alligators like this roaming about. It's like, why are there giant alligators roaming about like this? What's even more confusing is there's crocodiles in this universe, or alligators in this universe, that are anthropomorphic. Like Vector from Knuckles Chaotix, and also this game, Lit Online, right? So there's wild alligators and crocodiles as well as anthropomorphic versions? That's a bit weird, is it not? Am I thinking too much into this? Like, is there like a anthropomorphic dog that keeps a real dog as a pet? I don't know why I'm thinking so much into this, because I'm pretty sure Disney has done a similar thing in the past as well, because I think Pluto is a dog. No, I know Pluto's a dog. I think Goofy's also a dog as well. So you have Goofy as the dog, and then you have Mickey's friend being Goofy, and then Mickey's pet being Pluto. So these fantasy game worlds are weird, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Mickey Mouse, Goofy, and Pluto aren't really game worlds so much as they are cartoon worlds, but you know what I mean. Logic doesn't apply. I don't even know why I'm trying to find logic in all this. This is what I'm resorting to after 12 parts the same. By the way, I got the Chaos Emerald. Whoop-de-doo. Yay, go me. Yeah, I should have probably commented on that a bit more, but relax, we got another Chaos Emerald to go, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you that much. And normally that emerald takes me a lot longer to do. That was the easiest I've ever done. The easiest I've ever got that Chaos Emerald in. By the way, the reason I'm not really skipping this cutscene right now, and, well, no, the reason I'm talking over this cutscene even, is because we've already seen it. It's completely the same from when we played it beforehand. There's no Sonic Adventure sort of perspective situations going on here, ladies and gentlemen. They're just replaying the exact same cutscene over, which is, it's a little bit of a shame, I'll tell you that much, but, you know. It'll be a day to die for. Hey, that's my line. I love the voice acting in this game. I'll be perfectly honest. It's really cheesy and it's really over the top, but I honestly think it's quite good.
Not the best way to greet those you haven't seen in a while.
But you're the one that said stubborn and full of surprises. You were the rude one, Sonic. Jesus Christ. Anyway, just do the tornado trick until they die. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy, what can I tell you? Sometimes these character battles can be a little finicky, and sometimes they won't work the way you want. But usually, oh good Jesus Christ, get on the platform. Usually you can get them done in a few seconds. Sometimes though they're a little bit more stubborn and they try to take you out. But that's it for this part, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time in the castle haunted levels of the game yet again. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to start finding some topics to ramble about. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish. I'll catch you all then. Bye!